Hi YouTube, I just wanted to make a quick video here about my favorite rifle, the Browning X-Bolt, as of right now. Um, I've had quite a bit of hunting experience with all different kinds of rifles, and I usually like to customize my rifles like a lot of guys do, but this X-Bolt, out of every rifle that I've ever tried, I have actually not done anything to it. It's straight as it was from the factory, other than the scope and mounts, of course. And I mean, eventually, Browning right now, they only make a synthetic stock that's their DuraTouch, but it's more of a cheaper stock. And if somebody, right now there is no aftermarket stocks for it, as I know of, that aren't fitted to this. I know there's some blanks that are really expensive that you can have retrofitted to fit this action, but I want something that's made for the X-Bolt. And as of right now, there is nothing that is out there. Some HS Precisions or Macmillans or Ballon Carlson Medalist, those kind of things. When they do, I will replace it with high quality synthetic stock. I love the feel of wood, like a lot of guys do. The looks are great, but I'm more of a utility type of guy, and the functionality of a high quality synthetic stock that's not going to change at all its point of impact or swell or anything, especially for you guys that live up in Alaska, Oregon, Washington, where you get a lot of rain. And the other thing I was going to do to it is probably send it off and get it black nitrided. It's my favorite coating. I've used Teflon before, and it's a good coating, but you can scratch it off. And black nitride is it actually penetrates the metal, and it doesn't scratch off like Teflon will. The only thing in factory form that I know of that's close to that is Remington has an XCR and XCR2 that come with a trinite coating, which is an excellent, probably the best factory coating you can get out there right now in a standard rifle for all weather. But anyways, back to the X-Bolt. Why do I like it? Well, there's a bunch of reasons why, especially for someone like me that likes to customize their rifles. The triggers most of the time are an Achilles heel. Now, in the past 5 years or so, most of the manufacturers have really upgraded their triggers. I know Remington has the X Mark Pro, which is a good trigger. Winchester is a similar trigger to this. It's almost the same, actually. It's called their feather trigger. Savage has the Accurate trigger, which has been out for a while, of course. A great trigger. But this Browning trigger from the factory, I've tested it on the pull gauge in 3.5 pounds right out of the box consistently. It's crisp. It's fantastic. I didn't have to touch it. A lot of times I'd like to replace them with a Timony or a Schillen, something like that. Better quality. But this trigger is fantastic. I didn't have to touch it at all. So I really like that. It's got an extended finger guard here. You can see. So when you're wearing gloves in the winter, I live in Wisconsin, so it does get cold here. That's a nice touch. Most of them, have some sort of extended finger groove for gloves, but it's plenty big enough for me. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", close to 200 pounds, and I've got plenty of room there. Another thing I love about this gun is right here, tang safety. It's kind of hard to see, it's a little dark in here, but yeah, tang safety, my favorite. Out of every safety you can possibly get, the tang is my favorite. I know a lot of guys, on their Winchester Model 70s or their Rugers, their 77s, they got those 3-position safeties, and those are good too. It all depends on what you're going to use the gun for and how you hunt with it. I like a tang safety because it's quick, and you don't have to move your hand at all to engage a safety. Here in Wisconsin, we're allowed to do deer drives, and we do a lot of them. There's a lot of hunting pressure in Wisconsin. There's public land, quite a bit of public land, but everybody and their brother is out there driving it or stand hunting it, and so it's a good way to get deer is doing drives if you know how to do it and you're safe. I know a lot of people in other states can't do that, but we can, and I've been doing it since I was 4 or 5 years old before I could carry a gun. And when you're walking through the woods or a field or whatever it is, and a deer jumps up, that tang safety is just phenomenal. When you're bringing the gun up, you can engage the safety, and you don't even have to think about it. It's just natural. You don't have to move your hand, take your hand off the gun, and those seconds are critical because A lot of times, the brush is thick, or you don't, you get that quick 2-3 second look at a deer before it's gone. We have a lot of marsh grass and red brush where I live, so you can only get a little bit of time to look at them sometimes, and every microsecond counts. And another thing that I love about the X-Bolt is not only does it have a tang safety like the old Ruger 77s, but it has this right here. That's a bolt unlock button. So unlike the old Rugers, you had to put the gun on fire in order to work the action. And if you know what you're doing, it's not a bad system. But still, you got to have it on fire in order to work the action. Sometimes people can slip or whatever, not paying attention, which they should be if they're holding a gun. Things can happen. This way, you can keep the gun on safely unload the action. Everything's safe, good to go. Never had any problems with it. Fantastic. That's one improvement that they did over the A-Bolt, in my opinion. Phenomenal. Also, the magazine on this gun. Polymer magazine. I was a little worried, like a lot of people at first, polymer, it's not metal or whatever. But this is a 300 WSM, holds 3 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. 4 rounds of 300 WSM, that's great capacity, and flawless. I've never had a problem with this gun. I've owned this gun for a good 6 years, at least. Hunted with it every year. Never had a problem with it cycling. And that's another thing with the 300 WSM cartridge, one of my favorite all-time cartridges. I'm a big fan of 30 caliber, especially the 300 Magnums. And it's the 300 WSM is great, but it has an Achilles heel if it doesn't like to cycle reliably in a lot of push feed actions or actions where it doesn't centerline feed. The Browning X-Bolt is one of those guns that will do that. It puts the round right in the center line with the bore, so you don't have those jamming problems like you would have maybe on a Remington 700 or a Winchester Model 70. I know some people have them and they work fine. That's great. But in my experience, I've had 300 Remington short action Ultra Mags, Winchester mags, WSMs. I've hit every 30 caliber, and I've seen jams in Remingtons, especially with the short mags. Some people say you can get different followers, different springs, that kind of thing. But for me, this X-Bolt has been utterly reliable, which is a great thing because not only can you shoot that cartridge reliably, but it has less recoil than a 300 Winchester Magnum. And this gun, the overall length, it's got a 23-inch barrel. It's got a short action, obviously, because of the 300 Winchester Short Magnum. And if you look at the same exact gun in a 30-06, it's the exact same overall length. So for the same weight, for the same exact overall length, I'm getting a lot more power than a 30-06. And if a 30-06 is your favorite caliber, that's great. It's a fantastic caliber. I prefer the 300 Magnums because I like one rifle, so I can go out west, hunt elk, moose, whatever, which a 30-06 will kill just fine, but I prefer a 300. And so it's the same overall length, so I'm not having, to carry a long action 300 or 300 Ultra Mag with a 24 or 26-inch barrel. I get a 23-inch barrel with a short action, makes it a lot easier to swing. I think the overall length on this gun is, I want to say 41 or 42 3/4, somewhere in there. And usually when you're 300 Magnums or even your 30-06s with 24, 26-inch barrels, you're going to be in the 44 to 46-inch range. So you get a couple inches shorter, which makes a big difference for me hunting in Wisconsin, where we have a lot of woods, a lot of popple thickets, that kind of thing. When you're swinging this gun, it really makes it a lot easier. And the accuracy of this gun has been fantastic. The one thing I did to break it in is I got Tubbs Final Finish bore lapping ammunition, and that really worked well because a lot of guys like to fire 1 or 2 or 5 shots, clean their gun, and do that up to 50, 100 rounds, whatever they like. But I find that Tubbs Final Finish bore ammunition has lapping compound impregnated on the bullets. You just follow the instructions. I think it's 2 boxes of ammo, and it laps the bore, fire laps the bore for you, polishes all the little burrs and all the little nicks inside the bore, so you get a barrel right off the bat that's nicely polished, takes out all the imperfections if there are any, and makes it easier to clean, makes the gun more accurate, and I found that it does work. So this gun especially teamed up. I'm a big fan of Barnes bullets, especially with a 300 Magnum. Around here, I can get shots anywhere from 10 yards to 300 yards. And with a 300 Magnum, you don't want to use a 180 grain ballistic tip at 20 yards on a whitetail. It'll blow them up, ruin a lot of meat. I like to eat all the deer that I shoot. So I really like the Barnes bullets because they expand reliably in a 300 Magnum, and they're made of solid copper, so they can't separate. So you can shoot a deer right through the shoulders at 20 yards, and obviously with any rifle you're going to have some bloodshot, but it's not that bad. And you can also shoot them at 300, and the bullet will expand because you're shooting a 300 Magnum, and it's got the speed, to make those copper bullets expand, which in my experience has been you need to push them fast in order to get the best, most reliable expansion out of them. The new Barnes triple shocks are even better than the old ones, but in a 300 Magnum, mostly we hunt whitetails around here. That's what we have. I would recommend 150 grain, and out of this gun, stock factory ammo, it's going like 3,300 and change. That's pretty fast, but with a Barnes bullet, it's a great makes a great team. You can, especially with running deer, when you're shooting at a running deer, it really the margin for error is a lot greater, because most of the time if you miss a deer, you're going to miss behind them, and having a lot faster bullet can make up for that lead. Whether you agree with, shooting at running deer or not, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I've been doing it for years. I think I've only lost 1 or 2 deer in my entire life. But, especially with the deer being pressured on here, a lot of times if you sit, they will not move. You need to get out there and get them up. Another thing I like about the gun is the weight. Really, really lightweight. It's not an ultra light, like some of the mountain rifles, but it's pretty close for being a factory rifle. This gun, right now, I have got the excellent Trijicon AccuPoint 3 to 9x40. 1-inch diameter tube with tally, the one-piece base and ring made out of aluminum. Save weight again. Had great luck with them. This gun with the sling, with the clip, scope, the mount, everything, unloaded, of course. 8 pounds on the nose. That's pretty decent. I had a 300 Winchester Magnum Remington 700 that I bought. One of the first guns I ever bought. When I was 16, I believe. And I hunted with that gun for a number of years, and it was a great gun, fantastic gun. But I think it was like 7.5, 7.75 pounds without the scope or anything. By the time you got it up, it was getting close to 9 pounds. Makes a difference. And some people say, well, not to me. Well, that's fine. You can hunt with whatever you want. I do a lot of walking during the gun season. We put on miles and miles. And, the old saying, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain is pretty true, I found. A rifle like this, or I had a Remington 700 mountain rifle, very nice lightweight rifle, makes a big difference in how tired you can get, and versus something heavier. My brother for years hunted with a Remington 700 Sendero. It's a great gun, a fantastic shooter, but it weighed, with the scope and everything, probably close to 11 pounds. And he lugged that gun around for years, and I kept telling him, why don't you get something that's lighter, Use that gun if you're going to sit in a stand or something, get something lighter. And he's like, I can deal with it, I can deal with it. And then 1 or 2 times I let him take my gun, and he immediately felt the difference. And now he hunts with something lighter. It really can save you, and especially, when you're fatigued, you're not going to shoot as well. So with a lighter rifle, I've just found that, and also with the barrel on this contra, that's one problem that I had with the 700 mountain rifle. It was an accurate gun, but you get a couple shots out of it, and the barrel heats up really, really fast because it has that super thin pencil barrel. And this gun has got a little heavier barrel, and it seems to maintain its accuracy over a period of shots a little bit better. Now you're going to carry the gun a lot more than you're going to shoot it, so you got to figure out what's more important to you. But to me, this X-Bolt has been the perfect blend of a good trigger, good safety, it's a safe rifle, reliable feeding, accurate, pretty much everything you could ask for in a rifle. The only thing that I would change is I wish that they would come up with a high quality like a Macmillan or an HS Precision, some kind of high quality stock. Not that the wood is bad. I love wood. I love the feel of the wood. I love the palm swell. I love everything about it. But I'm you know, more and more it's warmer and warmer every year we go hunting. A lot of times there's rain, and you know, I don't have any rust on my gun. I take care of it, but it would be nice to have a high quality synthetic stock and some kind of special coating. You know, you can get stainless steel, but just because it's stainless steel doesn't mean it won't rust. You know, it's stainless, not stain proof, in my experience. So those two things in this rifle would be the perfect out-of-the-box rifle if Browning would put a high-quality synthetic stock on it. And if you like the Durtouch stock that's on there, that's fine. You know, it's not a horrible stock, but I like you know, solid fiberglass, or you know, one of the high-quality Macmillan, HS Precision, Bell & Carlson Medalist stocks. Hey, good luck with them, and especially if you're someone that's going to be taking a rifle to Alaska on a moose hunt or a sheep hunt or something like that. Let's say you drop your rifle on a bunch of rocks or something. This wood is going to be more prone to splitting than a high quality synthetic stock. You might get a dent or something in a synthetic stock, but it's not going to split on you. But that's just my preference. You know, I love the wood, the feel of it, the warmth of it, but when they do come out with something for it in synthetic or high quality, then I will get that. The action is cycles, you know, really smooth, nice polished bolts you got here. You know, really good. I can't really say anything bad about this gun. You know, in all the years that I've owned it and all the years that I've hunted with it, it's just performed fantastic. And you know, for the price you pay for guns nowadays, they should. They really should. Even budget rifles, you know, $500, that's not cheap. You know, maybe to some people it is, but not me and not most average guys. So this, you know, it seems like it's a good investment. I know their prices have gone up. When I bought this rifle, I bought it at Shields, and they had it on sale, and I paid for just for the regular rifle. It was $6.99, which is, I think, a pretty good price for the value that you get out of this rifle. Now, you can probably still find them for that price online, I would think, but I think they went up 100 or 200 bucks last time I checked in the local stores. But still worth it to me. It's got the perfect blend of everything you want in a rifle. And this Trijicon scope, especially on here too, it makes a great team, especially if you're someone that does deer drives like I do. It's got the vertical post, and gives you a lot bigger field of view, so you can pick up them deer faster, especially when your eye gets drawn right to the center of the scope because of that illuminated reticle. Works really good in my experience. If you're someone that lives maybe out west or something, I would probably recommend that you get, they have like a mil dot with like a green or amber or red, I think, center lit crosshair, and I would probably get that more because that's actually what I plan to do with this rifle in the future. I have a 375 Ruger on order that I'm going to be putting this scope on, and after I put this scope on it, I'm going to replace this scope with the same thing, only I'm going to get the green mil dot because I have a computer program on my phone that it's called Shooter, and you can put in your bullet weight, your ballistic coefficient, all this stuff that you need to get your range. Instead of having to pay a lot of money for turrets and stuff, to me, I think it would be a little bit quicker just to use your phone, because you don't have to have cell reception or anything. It's just an app that's on your phone, and it'll spit out, you know, your range and everything in mils or in clicks or whatever you want, but I would prefer to use mils because I'm going to get the mil dot crosshair for this, and then you can make accurate shots, you know, as far as you want. I think it'd be a great combination. But so that's my review of the Browning X-Bolt. This is my first review on YouTube, so hopefully they'll get better over time. I threw a bunch of extra information in there, but as far as the basic rifle goes, it's a fantastic rifle, especially in this caliber. I love the 300 WSM, really lightweight. Also, I think I forgot to mention, it has a fantastic recoil pad on here. I've owned a lot of Remingtons that had the Supercell, and the old Remingtons came with the limb saver. Well, those are the best that I had so far, and this is also right up there with them. With a 300 WSM, I had a Remington, a 700, 300 short action ultramag, the Remington version, and it had just a stock rubber pad. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't, you know, any of the high-tech limb savers or like this. I think this is called the inflex recoil pad that Browning uses. And that Remington that I had, you know, it left bruises on my shoulder. You know, I'm not recoil sensitive or anything like that. You know, I could shoot the gun just fine, but you know, it actually put bruises in my shoulder just from a 300. And so I swapped it out to a limb saver, and it was completely gone. And that's what this this pad does for you, this inflex pad. I can shoot this gun off the bench, you know, 20 rounds, 30 rounds, 40 rounds, no problem. No flinching. You know, it doesn't hurt to shoot it, especially in such a lightweight rifle with a 300 Magnum caliber. That's yet another reason why I love this rifle. I can shoot it, you know, really effectively because it's got low recoil. It's accurate, everything you want. So hope you guys found this review somewhat useful. Any questions or comments, put them in there. I'll try to answer them or whatever. As always, be respectful. You know, this is just my opinions. If you have a different opinion, that's great. I know everyone, you know, lives in a different place and hunts a different way, but this is just my opinions from my experiences with the gun and the type of hunting that I do. So good luck, and hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.